Hi guys, this is Jackie from techjackie.com and welcome you to another video on SEO. In today's video, I'll discuss or go through the 20 SEO checklists for in 2020 that will help you rank higher in the Google search results. So without further ado, let's dive into these checklists. The first section is the on-page SEO, and the number one is to have targeted keyword included once in the title tag and meta description. And I repeat here, only once. You may include other variations or other keyword that you want to target on the meta description and meta title, but the exact match of your keyword should be included only once. Like for example, you want to rank for, let's say, the keyword local SEO tips as well as local SEO tips and tricks. So you may have in your title tag something like local SEO tips, right? And then after that you can write local SEO tips, and then you can write tips and tricks to rank your local business higher, something like that. Like you can have two of the keyword present, but make sure that you don't stuff in the exact match keywords more than once in the title tag and meta description. Number two is to have the main keyword present in the body of the content at least 3 times. Now this depends on how long you have written your content, right? For example, if you have written like 1,000 words, three times should be enough. If it's 2,000 words, then maybe 4 to 5 times, right? But from my experience, regardless of how long you have written your content, at the end of the day, Google is now getting smarter and smarter, and it can recognize what the content is all about. I find that 3 to 4 times is an ideal number, right? Where this will also prevent any um, possibility of over optimization, which may decrease your ranking, right, or not make your rank higher as you should be. Third point is to have the main keyword present in other heading tags at most 2 times. Now, you may want to have your exact match of the keyword that you're targeting in at least one of the heading tags, right? And just don't make them more than 2 times, like at most 2 times. For example, you're targeting the keyword local SEO tips. You may want to have this exact match, let's say in one of the H3 tags or H2 tags, right? But make sure you don't put this more than 2 to 3 times, because otherwise it will be deemed as over optimization. Number four is to don't write long paragraphs. Keep it maximum of 3 to 4 sentences per paragraph. This will help improve the readability of the users when they land on your page, right? Because nowadays hardly anyone will read all of the content, right? And if someone finds that you have like 6 to 7 sentences per paragraph, like, no one's gonna read that, right? Like nowadays people just skim through the content and want to just read the headings and maybe read a little bit of the content below that, right? So by keeping it short, like 3 to 4 sentences per paragraph, you help the reader read the content easier, right? So fifth is to cover all the commonly discussed topics on a particular topic, right? Let's say you want to write about local SEO tips, and if the majority of the content ranking on the first page talk about, let's say, claim Google My Business, right? Then you would need to have that on your content as well. I talked about this in one of my previous videos where I discussed, how this is such an important thing that you should be doing, right? Before you start writing your content, is to basically analyze what are the commonly discussed topics your competitors are discussing, right? Especially for your competitors ranking on the first page. The reason is, because if the majority of people are ranking on the first page are discussing about it, then Google must be thinking that this is something that must be important, right? And that's why Google has ranked them on the first page. So that's the thing. Like for example, let me just show you here as well, right? Like for this keyword, can you cut dog's hair with human clippers? So I have opened a couple of search results ranking on the first page. Like for this article, right, like one of the topics being discussed is the difference between human clippers and dog clippers. Now this is from one of the results. If I check on another result, you'll see that this particular result also discuss the difference between dog clippers and human clippers. Now if you check another result again, this also discussed about difference between human clippers and dog clippers. Now 3 of the 10 I've just investigated into 3, but I'm sure that out of 10 at least 9 will have discussed on these topics, right? So this really means that this particular topic is very important, and Google is looking forward to have this particular topic on every content ranking on the first page, right? So you should be discuss all this particular topic as well. Okay, the sixth point is to have a short, concise URL with a targeted keyword. From many of the studies conducted by different institutions, claim that there's a high correlation between the site ranking on the first page and the URL length, right? The shorter the URL length is, the better the site gonna rank. Also, by having your keyword present in your URL, it also helps Google understand what the page is all about, right? Like you basically need to keep it about 3 to 4 words, right? URL. Just don't make it too long, and also have your targeted keyword present, or partial match, right? Like for example, you want to target for the keyword local SEO tips and tricks, then you may just have local SEO tips as your URL, or slug, right? What we call in WordPress. Okay, the seventh point is to structure out the content according to what Google expects. Now, structuring our content according to what the majority of results ranking on the first page are doing is such an important thing, because this will this basically deals with like how Google interpret the website, right? Or how the content should be structured, because you see, like for example, if the majority of the content ranked on the first page are a list type, right, like 1 2 3 4 5 6, then you would need to structure up your content accordingly as well, right? Like in this case, for this particular keyword, the majority of content ranking are just a paragraphs, right, as you can see here. So other results would also be repeating the same, like right as a paragraphs, as you can see, right? Now let's say if I change to social media marketing tips, right? Like 2019, for example. Now, if you analyze the results ranking on the first page, right? Let me just close this down. You see that the majority of them are, basically a, like a list type post, right? As you can see here, number one, right? Layout. Number two, right? Number three. How about this one? This also the same thing, right? Like number one, live stream, right? Number two, something like that. Like basically, just have to repeat what other people are doing, right? The content structure, or how the content is being structured out. As you can see, this one as well. So this is also very important. I also talked about some of my previous videos. I'll leave the link in the description so you can watch it again, right? Eighth point is to internal link to relevant content and external link to relevant sources. Internal linking helps passing the link juice, right, or authority from one of your page to another page. It also helps build up the relevancy of the content, right? And by external linking, you kind of helps to signaling to Google that you're actually sourcing out some of the uh, source, right, some of the stats, for example, from any reputable website, which helps your site looks more trustworthy, right, or have more authority. This also is another important point that you should keep in mind. Number 9 is to don't forget the alt text, right, or basically have a keyword present in your image, right, something like that. And 10th point is to add multimedia videos, right, for example, audios, etc. There also has been numerous studies which suggest that site ranking on the first page contains different type of multimedia, right? Especially with videos, because if you have videos, then people will stay on your site longer because they have to watch your videos. Thus, indirectly may help improve your ranking, right? Because time on sites, or how long users spend on your website, is also one of the things that Google is looking for, right? So make sure that you have different multimedia. So this also will like helps the reader as well, right? Like by having good user experience as well. And that's all for the on-page SEO section. Next section is technical SEO, right? From technical SEO, number one, make sure you have a clear logical site structure, right? Clear logical site structure means you have like categorize your content, or arrange your website content into very logical view and very clear view, right? I've talked about how important site structure is in detail in one of my previous videos. I'll leave the link in the description so you can watch again, right, and see what type of site structure Google really looking forward to or Google really loves, right? Okay. Second is to ensure the page loads within 3 to 6 seconds, right? Like the minimum is the better. This will also helps with the your conversion rate as well. According to the stats, right? By having 1 second delay in your page load times, decrease your conversion rate by 7%. So think about that, right? You can use the tools like using GT metrics or Google page speed, right, which will help analyze how fast your page loads. Third point is to ensure your site is SSL secure, right, or have HTTPS there, as you can see. This is pretty standard nowadays for every web hosting package, so you can easily get these factors done. Fourth is to fix all the broken links and 404 page, right? Broken links basically means any internal links or any links from your website pointing to outside or in internal content your page, but the page that you're pointing to doesn't exist anymore, right? This will if you have too many of them, this will be a sign of bad user experience with obviously Google doesn't like it and the users won't like it as well, right? And if possible, make sure that you do 301 redirect, right? Like for example, you may link to another page which doesn't exist anymore on your website, but instead you would want to redirect the users to another page, right, which may discuss the similar topic or maybe entirely about new things, right? Something like that. Fifth is to ensure your site is mobile friendly, right? You can test it using Google mobile friendly tool, right, which you can easily find it on Google. Just type in Google Google mobile friendly, like Google mobile friendly test, right, and click on the first link, or you can put your site in here, right, and see if your site is mobile friendly or not. And six is to don't forget schema markup, right? Like if you're running a local business, then you would need to have a local business schema present, or if you're an organization, you would need to have organization markup present, right? If you're using WordPress, then schema markup shouldn't be your problem, right, because it comes with pre-installed with the majority of all the SEO plugins out there, whether it's Yoast or all-in-one SEO tool, something like that. And that's all for technical SEO. And the last section is off-page SEO, right, which basically deals with links or something outside your website. So number one, avoid low-level links, right? These are links from sites such as Web 2.0's comments links, forum links, right? Basically, the links that used to work before, right? Back then, let's say in 2010, 2011, right? But nowadays, these links don't work anymore. I'll leave the link in the description as well. So which I explain why it doesn't work, right? Which I showed using one of my client site, and I bought a couple of these links and pointed to the site, and at the end of the day the links didn't even push up the rankings, right? So it was just a complete waste of money. So I'll just leave the link in the description so you can go and watch again as well. Second is to focus on link relevancy, right, both at the content level and site level. Relevancy has always been a key that Google's looking for, right? Because let's say you're running a recipe site, you wouldn't want to get the links from, let's say, car insurance site or pet care site, right? Because that's completely irrelevant and unnatural, right? This will not this will neither improve your ranking, but also will may put you at risk of being penalized as well, right? Content relevancy basically means let's say you write your recipe site, then you would want to get a link from content which talks about, let's say, a recipe on something or a food, right, or something similar like that. And site level relevancy basically means getting links from a cooking site or recipe site, right, or something similar, in the similar niche, something like that. Third is to have a diverse anchor text, right, in the overall link profile. A diverse anchor text is also a very important thing, right? Like for example, if you're writing about, let's say, local SEO tips, right, one of your content, and you want to rank that key for that keyword, then you wouldn't want to point all of your links, right, to your local SEO tips content containing the anchor text local SEO tips, because that would, look super unnatural, right? Instead, you would need to have a diverse anchor text. Like for example, 30% of the anchor text would be something like rank higher on Google or Google My Business setup, something like that, like something related. And some of the portion may be just about, the exact local SEO tips. I made a videos in one of my previous video which I talked about, the percentage of how you should, like go for your anchor text. So I'll just leave it in the link in the description so you can have a watch on that. And last point is to, when going for guest posts, make sure the site has some organic traffic, right? You can use free tool like Uber Suggest, which will analyze the site's traffic, or use a free tool called SimilarWeb, which will analyze the site traffic as well. Because nowadays guest posts, there are many links from there, right? Many low quality sites out there which are built for just making money off guest posts. So that's why you need to make sure that the site you're putting guest posts on has some organic traffic, because site which has organic traffic are the sites that Google trusts, right? And if Google trusts the site, this will help you improve your overall ranking, with your link effort, right? With SimilarWeb, you can just simply go to similarweb.com, right, and plug in the URL, that the site that you want to get links from, and you can analyze. Like for example, I type in this site, right, and you can just see where the site gets the majority of its traffic from. Like for example, in this case, from search results is 35.26, and from direct is 44.72, right? You would want to have a site which has maximum search, right, and minimum from all other sources. So that's all for the checklist, right? If you want to get the full checklist, you can comment in the section below, and I'll just email you or send you this complete list for you to use on your website. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below as well, and I try to answer them as soon as possible. That's all for it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.